Thanks for having me. I was listening to Natalie and then I got emotional just just thinking of how far like me and my son and my family have come just because of this. I started looking for resources about maybe 3 years ago when I had a late term miscarriage. And going through that, I lost my baby. I lost my ability to pay my bills. I lost my ability to parent to the standards that I had for myself. And I think all of that, it just threw me into a negative spiral. So at the time, I had no idea what to do. And I was put in touch with the reproductive mental health ward at the Richmond Hospital. And they had suggested that I look into the program for my son so he could have some support, because obviously I knew I was not going to be able to be there for him in the way that I needed to, just because I was dealing with so much. Now it's been a couple years, and just seeing how my son has grown, both his dad and I suffer with depression and anxiety, and I'm not really an outdoor person like that, especially now during COVID, that Dr. Bonnie is telling me to stay indoors. I'm like, hey, I've got it covered. I'll stay home. However, being a parent, that's not necessarily, I can't stay home every day for my son. So like, I feel like him having a life outside of my life helps him to be his own person and not to just be chained to my own mental health issues. I think it's important for him to have a friend group outside of school, where it's not like, at school now, you don't get to play with your friends anyways, but just generally, it's just given him, it's like my psychologist always says, she's like, you have to have more than one iron in the fire so that when some things aren't going well, then you have other things that you can focus on to bring you up. And for us, that's what UROK has provided for my son. If his dad's not doing well, if I'm not doing well, we still do our best as parents, but to have other adults that our child trusts outside of us, and not even above all of that, the fact that neither of us drives and our son gets to do things like he got to go snowboarding, those things literally there's no other way that I would be able to make that happen. So the fact that I was able, even in that moment of like not being my best, to have that support and to see him growing and thriving. Like my son used to have emotional outbursts in school where he'd throw his chair and he'd rip his papers. And after a couple of years, just hearing his teachers say, hey, what are you doing? I had never even thought about it. But like at least two teachers asked me, like, what did you do? And I said, I explained to them, well, I signed him up for this program and that program. And it just has had so much of an effect on building confidence in him and just giving him a more well-rounded life and exposing him to things that, because I don't drive, or because I'm not, always in the highest and the best of moods, he can experience that without me. And that's important, because even if he has concerns that he's not comfortable sharing with me, he's built a relationship with these people and he trusts them and he can share with them. And it's just when he comes home and the first thing he wants to do is tell me what they ate, where they went. It's kind of like a review of a TV show, but it's like an activity. It's just that much excitement that comes home with him. And that helps me too, to see him growing and thriving in that way. I can't even imagine like how I would be able to do that without the program. Even now, me as a single mom, I know other moms that they're not even at the place where they know to reach out and look for these kind of resources for their children. I can see how this program would help other people, but also, there's the wait, as they said, like 6 to 18 months. There's the wait, there's the stigma, there's the access to these resources, and knowing the having the motivation in yourself to say, okay, next Thursday, I'm going to commit to signing my child up for this. It's just, I think, for me, it was because I couldn't have imagined in my head how much it would have helped him and helped our family. The fact that I did it, that's one of the decisions I'm most proud of in that dark time in my life. The fact that I was able to do that for my son, it's a gift that for the rest of his life, it will impart like tools in his toolbox to deal with things that I don't even have those tools. So I think as a parent, the guilt I have about my mental health issues and the way they affect my ability to parent, I'm always trying to be better. I'm always trying to like correct things, but him having an adult outside of that, outside of both me and his dad, where he can get tools, have experiences, feel free of our issues and be his own person, forge his own path. I think that's so important. And a lot of the people that like I know in the community who would benefit from this program, who are interested or who are looking into this program, like we don't even drive. We like I'm a person with disability. I'm on disability. Like I pay my rent. Renting in Vancouver is very expensive. But now to think of a car payment and all of that, like obviously it's a goal on my list. However, now in this time where I'm not able, this group, it really comes and it picks up that slack, even if it's just once a month. The fact is my child is getting that experience when there's no other way, me personally, I would be able to get that to him. So the one thing that really made me sad was hearing that the funding for the vans weren't there. And even when I was talking to my son about that, he was like, oh, does that mean the program's going to be canceled? And like, it just like really, it really made him sad. And then I thought of all the things he's gained from this program, and just thinking of that not being there, it's really difficult. So anything that I could do, I wanted to come and talk about all the good things that happened in our lives, the progress he's made at school, the progress it's helped me make as a parent by not necessarily, by allowing myself in those times where I'm like, you know what, it's been a rough couple weeks. I know we haven't been outside as much as we could have, you know, COVID and everything, plus my own mental health. Now during COVID, more so than ever, my mental health, my plate is full. So this program still being there, it's like a stabilizing force for us. It's something that's been there, something that we can count on, and something that is positive in my son's life. Like just his face and this, even his teachers, the stories he tells them, the fact that they're asking about it, it just shows the impact that it has on him. And that impact that it has on him translates to a positive impact on me as a person and as a parent, seeing him grow and him having tools to come home and use, you know, in those situations, it helps. So I'm really thankful to Natalie, and I know Rebecca's no longer in the program, but Natalie and Rebecca have been there since the beginning to build this extension of family for my son. And that's what we really needed. Like him having, again, safe adults outside of just his mom and dad who are struggling with our own mental health issues. It's been like, I couldn't have imagined that there was something like that out there in the world. And I hope that more people are able to access this. And, you know, I encourage so many people. I'm like the biggest like poster when I walk around, I'm like, hey, just so you know, like obviously, as I said, I know other single mothers who are struggling in their own way. And whether it's the stigma or whatever is holding them back, I always feel like, hey, just so you know, this is the number. If you do want to reach out, I'm sure they'll be very happy to hear from you. But always thinking about those people who haven't even had a chance to access this yet. I feel like it's important that the program is able to continue and help more people, because it's just the tip of the iceberg. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that I have that experience. But there are so many other people in my community that are also hoping to be able to be a part of this and see these changes in their children or have this experience for their child. And so, yeah.
I just wanted to personally thank you for showing up, and I just want to let you know that I have noticed the change in you over the past couple years, and I'm just to see you become so much more trusting and grounded has been such a gift. So I'm so proud of both you and Cameron.
Started the program, as I'm sure Natalie might remember, I couldn't even let my kid go without, like, the whole time. Like, I remember the first time he left, because I'm originally from Ontario and his son and his dad also is out here, but we are the only two people in our family that are out here. So that was the first time he had been outside of either being with his mom or his dad. And I hadn't ever really thought about how that affected him, just us always being there. But then the first day he went, I remember I just sat there waiting for him to come home. I was just so anxious. And I think that really put my own mental issue in perspective on how it affected him, because all of that anxiety and him always having to deal with that, I never thought about that. I'm like, I'm doing my best as a mom. You know, when you don't expose your issues to a sounding board, it's normalized. But I think that's the other thing, like little by little, him coming back in one piece, him growing, it definitely has helped me not only in trusting you guys, but it's helped me in trusting outside, like people in the outside world, and kind of quelling my own anxiety in general. You know, just it's been a positive experience delving into the unknown, and I really appreciate that you guys were so patient with me. Like I was so unsure, I was scared, and now instead of being fearful, I'm happy when he goes. And it's just because you guys have put the effort in to make me feel comfortable and proven that this is the right thing to do.